Sleep is the door to our subconscious mind, and it occupies a third of our life here on Earth. It is vital that we use the time drifting off to sleep wisely, because how we spend this third of our lives heavily impacts the 2/3 of our lives in way more ways than you could ever imagine. Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Rosa, and if this is the first time that you're seeing my face, then welcome. It's so nice to have you on the channel. If you're interested in getting one-on-one coaching with me, checking out my free webinar on self-concept, or purchasing my brand new mini book, it was an ebook and now has become a mini book that I'm very soon gonna have being delivered in actual physical copies, but for now it's just an ebook. I'm super excited about this new mini book. It's called Becoming a State Shifter, and it's all about, you know, not just manifesting one thing over here, one thing over there, but really shifting into a completely new state of being where you're not constantly chasing your tail for the next thing, but you're actually living in a completely new state, a state of happiness, a state of bliss, a state where you just are living in the self-concept and identity where you're a magnet to constantly attracting things towards you. You're no longer living in the world of illusions, but you're living in the miraculous world. Now, if you want to learn how to live in the miraculous world, learn how to completely shift your state to a more desired state, then I think you would love the book. And of course, it's super inexpensive. I'm just so excited to get the message out there and share this baby that I've been working on for the past couple months. So just wanted to send that message out there. You can find all of this and more on www.rosa.com and in the description down below for your convenience. Now let's get into today's video. So, the state akin to sleep. Now, this is a term that Neville Goddard created and really popularized in a lot of his books. But of course, the topic of sleeping and using our subconscious mind to manifest has been around for hundreds of years, thousands of years, right? And more modern research and science is coming out to support the idea of how powerful our subconscious minds are for manifestation, and how using the state akin to sleep, using the SATS state, getting into the SATS state, will really help you manifest all your desires in this life. So in this video, we're going to talk about what it is, what is SATS exactly, how does it work, and then the practical steps that you can use so you can start using this technique, this method, this tool that is so powerful tonight. Okay, starting tonight. No more excuses, no more reasons why you can't do it or why this is a technique that shouldn't be a part of your actual routine. And that's something I'm gonna be talking about, is how this should not be just a method or a tool that you use once or twice. This should actually be a part of your nightly routine, because we are sleeping every single night. That is an opportunity every single night to recreate yourself. This is an opportunity we need to use, because there is no better time to access our subconscious minds. At the end, I'm going to give you a personal example that I literally did last week to manifest a sickness away. I had strep throat, and instead of it taking 3 weeks to heal or however long, going to the doctor, getting the antibiotics, doing the whole thing, I said, nope, I'm going to heal this in 2 days. And your girl did. And I'm going to explain the story by, I don't know, by the mid or end of this video. So stay tuned to hear that story. And also at the end, I'm going to share with you how you can know that you are successfully reprogramming the mind using the state akin to sleep, how to know your subconscious has been impressed. Let's get into it. So let's start out with how it works. Every single night, as you are drifting off into sleep, our brain goes through cycles, right? Our brain switches from different brainwave states, and the state akin to sleep, the state where the magic happens, where a subconscious mind is open and permeable to suggestions from the conscious mind, is during the theta brainwave state. So it's when you lie down into bed and your body is like in between awake and asleep. That is the spot that we're talking about, where your subconscious mind is wide awake, wide open, and open to suggestions. So our goal is to keep our conscious mind awake while we're drifting off into sleep, while our body is in an impression mode, while our subconscious mind's open once again, meaning it's open to impressions and being impressed upon and taking on a new belief system. I don't know how much you know about the subconscious mind, but basically our subconscious mind is constantly taking in impressions. It never sleeps. In order for us to make real changes in our lives, it's not just enough for us to think consciously about wanting to make a change or wanting to attract something and manifest it. That's all great and dandy, but we need our subconscious to be on board with the changes that we want to make. If our subconscious is not on board, I'm sorry, but we're not going to see changes, at least not in the long term or lasting and fulfilling like we really want and desire to see, right? right? And that state before we go to sleep is the best time to access our subconscious mind, because that's when our subconscious mind is most permeable. And luckily for us, we get into the state every single night. So we have this portal of opportunity every single night before we drift off to bed to create and state a new life that we want to create for ourselves. You may have heard that our subconscious mind does not know the difference between imagination and reality. And you'll be right in that understanding. This is true because our subconscious mind is tapped in to the 99% reality, the true reality that exists, that is beyond logic, beyond the conscious reasoning. It is connected to the spiritual realm, if you want to get a woo-woo with it. It is connected to the realm of infinite intelligence, that realm of our godly self, our higher self, our soul. So no, our subconscious mind does not know the difference between right or wrong, true or false, real or imagined, which is why it's so important to get the ideas of the life that we desire to have impressed on our subconscious mind. Once our subconscious mind is impressed with feeling like we are this new version of ourselves rather than the current conception of ourselves, when our subconscious is truly impressed with our ideal self, our subconscious mind, the universe, our higher self, it has to mold to make the 3D external world reflect back to you what you believe. You will always see in your reality a projection of what you believe to be true. So if you can change your beliefs on a subconscious level, what you believe to be true, your reality is going to change. And the best way to change your belief and get into the subconscious mind is through this prime time when you're about to go to sleep. Once again, the impressions your subconscious mind gets over time has to be expressed. That is the law of consciousness. In this life, we don't attract what we want, right? If we did, we'd all just have what we wanted, but that's not how it works, okay? We don't attract what we want, we attract what we are conscious of being. You attract what you are, what you feel yourself to be, and what you feel is true of yourself and of others and of the world around you. That is what you're always going to see reflected back to you. As soon as you succeed in impressing your subconscious mind and convincing yourself of the reality that you desire to experience is here right now, results will follow and confirm to you your new fixed belief. Now, how do we actually do this? How do we actually practically now impress on our subconscious mind? How do we enter the state akin to sleep? I'm gonna tell you that right now. So what you're gonna wanna do is every night before you go to bed, lie down, take a few deep breaths. Honestly, little things like putting your phone away an hour before bed, relaxing yourself, journaling, scripting, doing a manifestation method. These are all things that you can do to really help you to get into this state. But my biggest thing I actually want to give as like a takeaway in this video is that it doesn't need to be perfect, okay? I want this, like I said, to not be a technique you do once or twice, but to be a practice that you are doing on a consistent basis every single night, getting yourself drifting off into that state. So as you're going to bed, I want you to relax and let go of your thoughts. So to enter into this reality that Neville calls the state akin to sleep, it's like a deep meditation. So you're drifting off into bed, your body is becoming very relaxed, but you want to keep your mind conscious as your body is drifting off into sleep. And once you feel like you are completely relaxed, you are in this state, and you're drifting off into sleep, what is our normal tendency? What is the normal human thing to do? Is to ruminate on our day, right? As we're going to bed, we're imagining the events of our day, we're feeling embarrassment, anxiety, we're feeling cringe at ourselves, or whatever. I mean, that maybe that's just me, but I feel like that's a pretty common human experience, is that before bed, you're thinking about negative things, right? We're not thinking about the life that we want to create or fantasizing, visualizing, unless we're being conscious of it, of course. But as an autopilot, automatic response, we're trying to reflect on our day, right? But no, here is where we need to have the mental discipline to control where our thoughts are going at this time. Now, how you're going to go about this is you're going to imagine a scene that would happen after your desire is fulfilled. So if you already know what you want, you know what you desire, or maybe you just generally have an idea, I want to manifest XYZ, this kind of life, this kind of state, or maybe you're like, I know exactly what I want to lose weight, or I know exactly what I want to have a boyfriend. Either way, I want you to mentally tap into a scene that would naturally happen if that desire were already to have happened. So this is basically like visualization, right? You're imagining a scene of where you would be, what would be happening around you, what would it feel like if your desire were here right now in this moment. You already had your man, you already had the money, you already had your dream body. How does that feel? Instead of feeling every single night like I don't have what I want, I'm not yet where I desire to be yet, instead of all those negative thoughts, keep the focus on embodying and feeling like you already have what you desire. Sometimes it takes discipline, like I said, and that's why this is a practice, because our minds are used to the familiar, right? The familiar thought patterns every single night are ruminating on the old. And then what does that do? It continues to create and perpetuate the old story into our subconscious mind, which we have to live out again and again every single day. In order to change the story consistently in our subconscious, we need to have some mental discipline to redirect our thoughts when our brain is in the most permeable state, and we have this opportunity every single night. So back to what I was saying, what are we gonna do? We're gonna imagine the scene. We're gonna imagine the scene, we're gonna feel as if it's real, we're really going to put ourselves in that place. A question you wanna ask yourself is, how does it feel to have my desire realized? How does it feel to be living in my dream body? How does it feel, right? Everything we said. A really good technique, so what really helps, and Neville Goddard talks about this a lot, is imagining a friend or somebody in your life, a parent, a family member, whatever, telling you that you had your desire realized. Like, what would that look like? Because our brains really feel like that kind of stuff is real. Like, for example, if your goal is to lose weight and you have a dream body in your mind, living in the end, what would that feel like? To imagine what would that feel like, you could imagine maybe your mother-in-law or your brother or your friends coming up to you and saying, oh my God, girl, or oh my God, boy, like, you look great. You look, you lost so much weight. You're looking fantastic. You're glowing. Like, what would people say to you? Would people come up to you on the street and be like, I love you. You just look like you're glowing. Oh my God, you just look great. Like what does that experience look like to you? Think about that. Imagine other people telling you these things and really get yourself in that feeling state, because it's the feeling, as Neville Goddard states, feeling is the secret. It is feeling like your desire is already here, and that's what brings it towards you. So focus all your feeling, all your intention as you're drifting off into sleep. Take your attention away from the problems and happenings of today. Today no longer exists. Maybe you've done some reflection on it earlier. That's great. You can do that. But while you're in this state of drifting off into sleep, we want to keep our minds in alignment with the life we want to create. That's where our attention should fully be. We want it to be on the new self-concept that we're creating, the new identity, the new state we're trying to live in. And really repeat this scene, repeat this every single night until you feel like it's real. The more it's repeated, the more it gets impressed into your subconscious mind. Within not a lot of time at all, when you repeat this every single night, you are going to see changes and movement in your external world. Now, I really quickly want to share with you how I healed my strep throat in 2 days rather than in 3 weeks or however long X amount of weeks that it would have taken me to normally heal this kind of sickness, right? Because I think it's like viral, or like it's not bacterial. I don't even know. Anyway, I'm just gonna explain the story. So basically, what day is it today? Today is Thursday, okay? And it was last Friday that I got the strep, and I was fully 100% healed by Monday morning. So basically, I woke up with strep, and it hit me like a ton of bricks. I couldn't move, my body was sore, I couldn't swallow, it was bad. I have a friend who's a nurse, and I just sent her pictures, and I sent a couple of my friend photos. I was like, girl, what is this? What's happening? My friend's like, you have strep throat, you need to go to the doctor immediately and get it on antibiotics. And like, she's spiritual too. Like, she's not about, going to the doctors all the time. And even though she is a nurse, she's, for like the holistic approach for most things, right? But she's like, no, girl, like, this is not going to heal on its own, unfortunately. Like, this, you need to go to the doctor. This is bad. And I had a friend who was like, I'm going to bring over chicken noodle soup. Like, you're not feeling well, girl. I sent her a picture of my strep throat. She's like, girl, you don't need no chicken soup. You need to go to the doctor now. I'm not bringing you anything. You need to get your butt over to the doctor. And I was like, you guys are scaring me. Like, what the hell? Before I sent this picture over to my friends, I was like thinking in my mind, like, oh, this is fine. Like, I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure it's nothing. Me practicing my law of assumption, practicing my self-concept, and saying, oh, I'm not sick. I feel great. I feel great. Even though I wasn't feeling great, I was perpetuating in my own mind, I feel great. Like, I'm not sick. I'm literally fine. Literally in 2 days, I'll be better. And I actually had a really big business meeting that was super important for me to, be alert for on Monday afternoon. And I was like, I can't afford to, be sick, be bedridden. Like, this is not happening. I did not give it a choice. But as soon as my friends started like telling me these things and scared me a little bit, which honestly, maybe I shouldn't have even told them, because in my mind mentally, I was like, I'm better. I'm fine. I'm good. Ignoring my 3D reality, taking care of myself, still doing the things I need to do, having the chicken noodle soup, having the water, having the vitamin C, a lot of water, doing the things to heal my body, getting a lot of rest. I was still doing the things, but mentally, I was healthy. Mentally, I was still calling in the life I desire. And because, when you're sick, you're doing a lot of resting, I had a lot of opportunity to get into the state akin to sleep. You guys know when you're sleeping, you get into that state easily because you're always just in and out, right? You're phased in and out, you're sick, you're not well. So what I would do is I would, number one, listen to healing meditations to really infiltrate my mind and subconscious with the fact that I am healing. I'm not focused on the sickness, I'm focused on the healing. How can I heal myself? How can I be better? How do I focus on really being my healthiest self. So I was focused on my health, Every single night I'm visualizing in my mind as I'm drifting off to sleep, my friends telling me, oh my God, I have never seen someone heal so fast in my life. You have just healed so fast, blah, blah, blah. Like imagining the friends who told me all these things saying, you're a master manifester. Oh my God, how did you do this? And really being a testimony for people. And that's exactly what your girl did, okay? I did this for the first day and a half, no results, no movement. But in my mind, I was like, I'm healthy. I am healthy. My friend's like, are you at the doctor yet? Are you going to the doctor? I was like, yeah, I'm gonna see how I feel tomorrow. Meanwhile, full blown knowing I'm not going to no doctor. I am healed. I am okay. Like in my mind, I was living in the end, which is that I am healed. And on top of that, I was editing a video, which was summarizing Neville Goddard's 4th book. And he literally had a chapter on healing in it. And he says in the video, take your conception away from the problem and into the solution. Stop focusing on the disease and focus on being healed. I am healed. I am not going to be healed. I am not one day in the future going to possibly I am healed. So long story short, that's what I did. That's what I focused on. And I persisted in that. I did not waver. I did not say, maybe not, maybe this. No, I said, no, I didn't give it a choice. I didn't have any resistance too. So that's an important thing to mention. If you're like, why can't I just do this with all my manifestations? There's some manifestations we have less resistance to. And that is why I was able to do it with effortlessly and with ease. Okay. I just wanted to share that personal example because it relates to state akin to sleep, obviously because I was sleeping half the time. So I was really able to drill that into my subconscious and heal myself so quickly. What most people do when they're sick is they stay stuck in that sickness. They say, I'm so sick, I'm so sick. I did not let myself say, I'm so sick to myself. Of course, I had to cancel some plans and I had some things. So I had to say, I'm not feeling great. But in my mind, I'm like, I'm great. I'm feeling great. I'm feeling great. I visualized myself at the meeting feeling 100% energized, 100% alert in there. And guess what happened? Exactly that. My friends messaged me exactly what I visualized them to say, which is, you are a master manifester. I'm so inspired by you. Oh my God, how did you heal so quickly? All the things that I imagined happened. And I know that might be like a small example, but honestly, it's not a small example because I could have been sick for weeks, I wouldn't be here today filming this video because I would still be bedridden and sick. But I was able to heal myself 100%. I took a picture from the first day to the second day, which is the 3rd day, and you see, if you know anything about strep, there's like white spots everywhere. There was a lot of white spots, a lot of them. And by the second and a half day, gone. Nothing. When I tell you not a spot in sight, I'm a magician. And you're a magician too. And that's the point of this video, is that you can do this with anything, right? Take your focus away from who you do not want to be. Stop ruminating on your past. Especially when you're in the state akin to sleep, when you're in the state before bed, put all your focus on the life you want to create. Who do you want to be? How do you want to identify yourself? How do you want to feel? How would you feel? I was literally feeling physically sick, but mentally I was like, I feel great. And I allowed myself to detach a little bit from my body. I did feel the physical sensations, but I was living in consciousness. Literally was honestly shocked at myself that I had like 0 doubts in my mind that I was going to get better. Like my past self would be sitting in that old story of I'm sick, so I have to be sick for this long, and going into the negative stories and cycles. I did not entertain any of it. I just kept saying, I'm healed, I'm healed, I'm healed, I'm healed, I'm healthy, I'm healthy, I'm healthy, I'm healthy. And that is the life I am living today. Now, I want to give you guys a little note, which is that you should not limit yourself to your past. There is nothing impossible to consciousness. So begin to imagine yourself to be someone that you've never been before. Imagine living in a state you've never lived in before. Dr. Joe Dispenza calls this the familiar past, right? We're so used to always going back to the familiar past. Why? Because it's familiar. We constantly want to go back to the familiar feelings, the familiar emotions, the familiar personality and self-concept that we had in the past. We don't need to stay stuck and victim to the old story. We have the power to create a new future for ourselves. It takes that initial discipline, yes, to continuously persist in that new story. But you're never not going to want to manifest. So why not continue to persist in creating this new story for yourself? We will always go naturally back to old patterns automatically until we make that conscious effort to continue to persist and strengthen our mental diet, our mental muscles. The same way we strengthen our physical muscles, we want to strengthen our mental muscles to be able to permeate our minds with the new story rather than being stuck in repeating the past cycles over and over and over again, day in and day out. On page 177 on Neville Goddard's 5th book called Feeling is the Secret, he says, the world cannot change until you change your conception of it. It's an internal job. As within, so without. Everything always starts in consciousness. And that is why the state akin to sleep is so powerful, so important. Now, how do you know that you've successfully impressed upon your subconscious mind using the state akin to sleep? I have 3 ways that you will know that you have successfully done your work necessary. Number 1 is if you have dreams about the thing that you're visualizing and thinking about before bed. If you start to dream that your manifestation is coming into fruition, you know you're doing something right and that you're impressing the subconscious mind. Okay, great job. Keep up the good work and keep going. The second way that you'll know is when you wake up in the morning and you feel like it's real. Like you wake up and you like are almost shocked when you check your phone and you don't see the text, or you don't look the way that you imagined yourself to look, or you don't have the money. You're like, what? That's weird. Mentally I do. But in my 3D, it's not reflecting it. That's like, if that feels weird, it almost feels wrong. It feels like my internal world is more real than the real world. That's how you know you're making an impression on your subconscious mind. And that's how you know it's only a matter of time before the 3D catches up. Because that's the law. The law is that once your subconscious mind is impressed, it's only a matter of time before the 3D reflects that back to you. You just need to continue to persist until you see the changes. And then the third and final way that you will know that you are making a successful impression on your subconscious mind is that you no longer actually desire the thing because you feel like you already have it. You feel like this is just my life, I'm just this person, this is who I am. Like, I almost feel like I don't need to say this anymore because I feel so good. I feel good. I feel like I'm living in the end. I feel like I'm living in that reality. That's how you know, okay? Neville Goddard states that the time it takes for you to manifest is the time that it takes for you to feel the naturalness of having that thing, where you just feel like this is just my life. This is real. It becomes from a concept, a thought, to this literally feels like this is my life. Your subconscious mind becomes impressed with it, and it becomes your conception of yourself, and it becomes the state that you live in and the state that you experience in the 3D world. But you must live it in consciousness first. Consciousness precedes manifestation, not the other way around. You believe it before you see it. Now, moving forward to wrap this video up, once again, like I said, this should not be a thing you do once or twice. This should be a nightly routine that you actually adopt to really strengthen your mental muscles, strengthen your belief, strengthen your conviction in you already having the thing desired. There's honestly no point to ever give up on this because this is your life. It's okay if you're not perfect. You don't need to wait till you're perfectly in the perfect moment of the state akin to sleep, or maybe you fall asleep too early before you can start visualizing, or maybe you start visualizing but then you lose the visualization one night and you give up. No, it's okay. You don't need to be perfect. Every night, a little bit better, a little bit better. You're trying every single night. You don't need to perfect it every single night. What matters is that you are doing it consistently and consistently bringing your thoughts and mind and feeling state back into alignment with the reality you desire. Saturate yourself with the feeling as much as possible. Don't beat yourself up if you're not perfect. I am definitely not perfect, okay? Some nights I fall asleep. Some nights I mess up and I go back to the old story. Another final note that I want to just sprinkle in here before I end off today's video is that this doesn't need to only be done before bed, right? You can do this. You're in SATS state multiple times throughout the day. So, you know, if you want to do a meditation, you can enter into the state then, really visualize yourself, feeling as if you're already living in your desired life where you want to be, imagining friends coming up to you telling you, oh my god, congratulations, blah blah blah. You can do this at any point of the day. It's just your mind is very permeable at the time when you're about to go to sleep and at the time when you're about waking up in the morning. At those 2 times, especially when you wake up without an alarm. Forgot to mention that. See, this is why you gotta stay to the end of the videos because I might just sprinkle in some nuggets that you wouldn't have heard otherwise. So yeah, especially when you wake up naturally without an alarm, your brain is like naturally easing into its wakeful state, and that's the perfect time to permeate your mind with the reality you want to experience, because your conscious mind is awake but your body is like still completely asleep. Like that is prime time to infiltrate into your subconscious mind. Okay, so that's all for me in this video, guys. I really hope you got value out of it. If you did, please leave it a like and a comment down below letting me know what was the most valuable thing you got out of this video. Hit that subscribe button for new videos every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday. And without further ado, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye. Love you.